Hey everyone, we'll get started in just a second. AR, why don't you try talking really quickly?
Okay, talking.
May, why don't you try talking?
Talk, 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 talk.
Okay, that seems about good. We'll go ahead and grab 30 seconds of silence starting now. Okay, that should be good. You guys both ready?
Mm-hmm. And the
Yep,
neighbors are no longer playing cornhole right outside my window, so
that's good.
That probably helps.
yeah, it's much less of a distraction. Very outside chance that would have picked up too.
I think it actually did for a bit at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. Welcome to the With the Will podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a little bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, a run with the Will.
Air Pulver, the never-ending Digimon system restore.
And May, Lost in Translation, similarly never ending.
We can't catch a break, can we?
Never.
You guys could take over doing the news if you'd prefer.
No, I don't hate myself that much.
No.
So how's everyone? Let's see, it's been 2 weeks at this point. How's the last 2 weeks been for everyone?
2
Shit.
weeks, 3 weeks, 5 months. Who's keeping track anymore?
Yeah, basically. It's been
I'm fine.
it's been an
I'm okay.
it's been an exciting few weeks for Digimon, which is a plus considering everything else is exciting in the opposite way.
Yeah, it's been good to see the reaction to this,
Yeah.
which is why we're doing an episode basically just for
Yeah.
the
Uh,
reboot.
yeah, there's one or two non-reboot things tossed in because by the time we would get to them, they wouldn't be amusing anymore.
Hmm.
Mostly this, which is that's maybe the best April Fool's joke we've ever gotten from the brand officially, to be honest. Which is
Yeah,
the Digimon cross Metabots, which was funny because until they both went haha, they didn't admit it was something they were both doing. It was just, hey, this looks kind of familiar.
yeah, it's very eye opening for the Fox Kids fans among us.
Yeah. So first up, the Digimon Twitter and the website put up a new Digimon named Omedamon, which great name. And the funny part was a lot of people didn't quite recognize it looking at it at first because we're getting a lot of messages like, that's a neat looking Digimon. And then a minute later, the same person would post like, wait a second, that looks like Metabe and Rokusho.
Yeah, it's Mets hasn't exactly been on the top of my mind at any point in the last 20 years.
It has
So
it has been with me because I've worked on the show recently.
Yeah.
So
right.
Occasionally it'll pop up
so
on my mind,
yeah.
just sort of like, hey, remember that cool thing? Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was cool. I
So
like
for
Yeah,
that.
I was more of a Moncoli Knights fan, to be honest. So
Yeah, for me it was really weird because I've been working on the show. It's like, oh, I've worked on this not too long ago. I need to do I remember what this actually is, which I knew right before.
I remember Metabe. I don't remember the other one.
Rakusho, you was the one always wearing the cloak and acting mysterious for no real reason.
Yeah,
The Edgelord.
the
Yes.
Edgelord. There you go.
Yes. He's the Yamato of the show.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, Metabe was one everyone remembered. I still like how the born from the data of that one game, which they both play that sort of word game. And then right after Metabots posted the new Metabot Omega Knight. The funny part is most people seem to like Omega Knight more, even though I feel like it's less interesting because it sort of just looks like Omegamon.
It looks
It's
like
just chibi Omegamon.
It's like an NX figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the funny part was that's the one that got people more excited, it seems, just because I think it was more recognizable, but it's so recognizable, it felt slightly less special to me, at least.
I suppose, but not everybody is aware of like NX figures,
Yeah.
and that's been a thing for a
Yeah.
while.
I'd say the weirdest thing to me is that he has hands.
Yeah. That's
He has
probably
hands
that's got to
now.
be a Metabots, just a design thing.
Yeah, but I just like they actually have the whole parts and every list and everything. I just kind of love that. I don't know. I'm still kind of just looking at the art and just amused with it because.
It's great.
Yeah, but not only that, like As Maria did the design for Ometamon, and one of the main Metabots designers did the design for Omega Knight. So like these styles fit perfectly, even though it's the designs from the opposite franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun.
Yeah, they're coordinated really well.
Yeah, it was a fun little April Fool's joke. Because I wondered, because Digimon's gotten really big with April Fool's joke the last few years.
Yeah.
But it felt like they can't do a movie joke this year because the movie's a month old.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to do any sort of show joke because the show is in days. So I kind of went, I'm sure they'll do something again.
What
But
are they gonna pull this time? And they end up getting a nice little crossover thing going.
Yeah, because a fake movie and a fake show don't work when a show's out the same week.
Yeah, if they pulled some sort of Edamon, Numamon, Sukamon type thing with the reboot, like for all we know, like none of those are going to appear in the new show.
Yeah.
Or some of them will be featured prominently, and it won't really be that satirical.
It was hard to top last year when they fucked with us, though.
Oh yeah.
Where we got the fake.
That was the Frontier. That was the Gatsumon one.
Yeah.
Gatsumon Pumpmon one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best.
Where days days later it was revealed that wasn't quite as fake as we thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I don't think there's much more to talk about that, although I love that they both put up design artwork for it. Mm-hmm. Just to show us how much thought went into everything. I don't know, I love it, but we're here to kind of talk about something else, I think. Which is, hey, Adventure began.
Yeah.
And
it was pretty good.
And it was simulcast, and it's there. That kind of puts us in the weird position we've never quite been in of there being officially new stuff every week for us.
Yay!
Yeah.
Legally.
Having an actual legal way to watch it right off the bat, it's sort of...
Yeah, I was prepared to just watch to get a VPN and watch it on Netflix Japan and just use my intermediate Japanese to work out what's going on. But this way is much more relaxing.
Yeah, I was all like, oh, am I gonna have to find another live feed again? It's like that's such a pain in the butt. But no, it's like okay, we'll just make it easy.
And we actually got a few days of warning, which was nice.
Yeah, but it was still surprising. It was just whoa, that's happening.
It was, but at least it wasn't like we got with Try almost every time where it was either the day before or people would go to sleep and wake up and it would be there.
Yeah. I mean, Try was more something by the time the first two had aired, we kind of just assumed it was going to come out. Yeah. No one knew for sure, but we kind of just said, okay, it's coming out at midnight.
Well,
Japan
for
time
movies, for the following parts, for the first part, it wasn't until the day before. Although for this, it was the day before, but a little earlier. Like for Try Part 1,
no. We got this on Thursday, I believe.
Oh no, it was Friday. I thought it was Friday. I could have sworn it was Friday for this.
Based on my news post shows it being the 3rd, so it was definitely 2 days before.
Yeah.
The 3rd of April?
Yes.
It was definitely. I'm pretty sure it was. It might have been
Friday.
Saturday for me.
Oh man, I'm getting mixed up because it's the 5th, but it's the 4th for us, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's the 5th for me.
I mean, I remember it because it was announced on that Friday because I had off that day because I was just didn't feel like work.
Yeah. See, the problem is
I wanted some free time.
The problem is I try to keep track of fucking everything, which means I'm keeping track of 2 entirely different days for the show.
Anyway, yes.
So it's there. The weirdest thing is these do not feel like subtitles we've gotten for Digimon before officially. These feel significantly better.
Yeah, I guess it's because there's no real need to sort of. I don't know. The ones that were for Try seemed like they were for almost like trying to be in line with Digimon Adventure, the original one.
I'm not talking about pseudo localized. I'm talking about these subtitles are simply better quality in general.
Oh, right.
I think I want to say it's maybe because the Try subtitles that showed up on Crunchyroll was more of a okay, this is just to get it to you until we can have a more polished release.
No, those were kind of still there on the disc, to be honest.
No, the disc. You're supposed to watch Try dubbed.
Yeah, but I stand by that. But here's the thing: they could have thrown together subtitles for this, and most people wouldn't have cared. These are significantly better subtitles than we've gotten before.
Yeah, maybe they stepped up their game because they know this is sort of a broadening out a little bit.
But yeah, and even weirder, we actually got the song subtitles, which very often doesn't show up on streams.
Yeah.
Because they generally have to get approval to have lyrics and stuff for it. So, like, they did both Romanized and translated English. It was a very nice presentation versus what we're used to, I'll say.
Maybe because the song slaps.
Am I
too old to use that term? I think I'm too old to use that term.
I think you're too old and you talk too casually like I do, where if you say it, it sounds artificial.
Like, well, it's because I'm trying to use all this Gen Z terminology like yeeting and slaps and
I think you have to
Australians have been using banger for decades, so banger's not Gen Z.
Gen
Z is reclaiming banger.
May I think you need to stick with generic cursing for you.
Oh, but then people ask you about it, or are surprised when you curse, and you're just like, yeah, but May.
That was the best one ever on Twitter when the person was like, "You curse," and it's like, wait, what?
Have they seen the fucking show?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So okay.
Anyway, the opening is a proper humdinger. Let's move on.
Yeah. The opening's very good. Although, can we just say, and we all knew it was going to happen. We had all the complaints. Why do they keep using Butterfly? They're digging up Watakoji's grave. Well, how dare they? And then we get a new song that's great with a great intro. And what is the biggest comment we saw?
Oh, where's Butterfly? Where's Braveheart?
Exactly.
Mark, when have Digimon fans ever been consistent? There's like that they want a new series, but they also want old
stuff,
series.
But they also don't want new stuff.
Yeah, hey, give us sequel Tamers.
So
like,
so the opening animation's great. Let's go ahead and I think we're all kind of thinking it, so let's go ahead and guess. Do you think they're adding characters to the opening as they're going?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, because certain scenes like Taichi and Agumon standing in the fiery field thing, that feels like that shot from the old opening where they were all surrounded.
Yeah, and or the bit where Taichi's falling.
Yeah,
I feel like that could easily just have them added in, and I'm gonna pop if that happens. Like I'm excited. Like the ending will probably stay the same, despite it being so Yamato focused.
I think with the ending, a lot of times endings will only stick around for 10 to 13 episodes.
Yeah.
So
that I think the entire opening is going to change after 10 or so episodes, but I think that what we've got, I mean, maybe they might throw in a couple things, as we learn more, but for the most part, I think the framework that we have is what we're going to end up getting. Because I heard people saying, like, oh, the next one's going to be all Yamato.
No, people were
around, and I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, every crazy theory about the opening, ending, and show I've heard, I've kind of just dismissed, to be honest, because they seem to get crazier as the week went on.
Mm-hmm.
So before the show itself, the ending, we already had the music video, and they released the song even in the US. The ending works really well, which the animation, I think you can argue it's too Yamato-centric. I think it works for what it is. And I think the song...
the ending is a nice way. If the opening focuses on one character, the ending focuses on the secondary character. That's just a cool thing to do.
Yeah. So the show itself, I think the first thing is wow, that was some animation, wasn't it? Like, we're not used to that.
Oh, the bit where they're all with the adult forms and they're all attacking. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing is
I popped.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't just the opening or the ending. The animation was really good throughout.
Yeah.
At a level that while I was sitting there watching it, I was sitting there going and honestly going, I can imagine sitting there watching the movie when we finally get it and going, it doesn't look as good as the show.
However, Mark, when I was watching, I watched it on the TV. I was with a big. We've got this huge, like, mega stupid 4K TV, which I'm glad we moved to a house because it was entirely too big for the fucking apartment. Now we have it in the house, which is arguably better. Anyway, so I was watching Digimon on it. I was like, yeah, I get the TV. I'm gonna watch this. I'm so excited. And then Brady comes along. And is like, what? How is this new? It looks exactly like the original. And I was like, motherfucker, what the fuck? It looks
no.
See,
are you going to have to drag him through a podcast adventure of seasons 1 through?
I've shown him like a handful of episodes. I've shown him the Pumpmon and Gotsumon episode and the Home Away from Home episode.
No, don't show him the good ones. Start with the really crappy beginning ones.
See, here's the. Here's the interesting with the designs. The designs are at their base the same. In show, the art is saying it's completely different isn't true, but it is.
Yeah, it's like it should. You know when you play a game?
Yeah, it's how like, people imagined the art is in their head.
Yeah, it's like had Heart Gold felt like it was always like that, and then you go back and play Gold, and you realize how bad the graphics were, but the graphics were so good when you're like the way you remember it. So you remember it as Heart Gold, but when you go back, it's just like, how did I ever play this? This has like 3 colors. So yeah, it's like how we all imagined Digimon looked, but now it actually looks like that. And it's nice that they didn't change the animation style too much. Like it's still very much like you look at it.
I would say it actually isn't. I mean, the designs look roughly the same. The animation is nothing like we've ever had.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah. but even
it's a good version.
But even the in-show designs aren't as similar as people seem to think they were going to be based on the designs. Like necks are a bit thinner. I'd say heads are maybe even a bit larger. I like the way they introduced Koshiro. They gave him. I don't want to say they gave him a personality because he did have one before.
They added to it.
They sort of defined who he is in that he's very clearly smart, but he also seems to have no idea that's something that matters.
Also, that motherfucker's so polite. It's such a cute like comparison to Taichi.
Right, it's very
so like it's informal.
Like it's not that different from the original, but here it stands out more. Yeah. They really go straight to, okay, we're not going to hide him among 6 other kids. This is who Koshiro is.
Yeah.
Let's just get all the basics, the information that you need about him squared away right off the bat. A little bit socially awkward, overly polite.
I don't think it's socially awkward.
Sort of thing and this is the advantage that you can get away with when you're only introducing 2 characters in the first episode. Yeah. And that was the biggest problem with the first episode of the original, is they're trying to introduce 14 characters, and they don't really introduce anybody very well.
No. The other nice thing was they've already sort of introduced how Taichi doesn't see himself as good with that stuff, thereby explaining what Koshiro's point would still be in a modern world. They framed that pretty easily by having Taichi be the person to point it out. Where, like any person in the modern world, he can use a smartphone reasonably easily, but he doesn't mean he understands stuff about it.
Yeah, I mean, by the end, Koshiro gets that and turns into super assist character immediately. So I think that's established pretty well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taichi's never been the best with technology, so
no.
But
he's also not
going to be nice. But I get what you're saying. It's distinctive because you'll have characters later. There's no expectation of characters not knowing about technology here,
because
we're going to get down the road. Like, holy hell, when Mimi shows up, like, Mimi's going to know her way around a phone.
I'd say it'd be better to wait on that one, because I could easily see them going the opposite way.
I mean, I already have this huge headcanon for Mimi based on the 1 or 2 seconds that we saw her, so I'm ready to talk about my fucking headcanons. Like, I have so many.
Maybe we'll move on. Maybe we'll get to that in a second.
Let's. Yeah, we don't need the 10 hours of the backstory Maze already wrote that could vanish.
It's 5 minutes, but it is a backstory, and it's like it's what I want. But also, like, I'd pop if I'm right, but I don't think I am because it was only like 1 or 2 seconds of animation. But like, I've got some theories about all the characters. I built up very elaborate headcanons.
Maybe we'll swing back to that later. But it's one of those things that's going to be fun to see, that there are the slight variations in the backstory which make you wonder about the variations that the characters, the tools they have bringing to the table from the beginning.
Yeah. Now here's the odd one. They've already gotten something out of the way that people still complain about for the original show, which is the handful of times Tai Chi seems to get to the digital world with no explanation.
Oh, people complained about that?
Oh, people still bitch about that, especially with the beginning of 02.
Really?
That's
the thing they bitch about in all of Digimon?
Oh yeah, the 02 one was pretty egregious.
But the thing is it happens at the beginning of it happens at the end of movie 2 also, and no one's really bothered there. Here they show you it happening, and basically why it's happening, and kind of gets it out of the way to explaining away any other time this happens in the future.
I guess I don't know what that helps. I mean, it's
one less.
I don't see any connection between what happened here with what.
I mean in the sense that it was an easy enough explanation in the old ones, and here it's one less thing for people to complain about because people love to complain.
Well, this is better in every way.
Oh no,
the original.
So we have it basically begins with Taichi and Koshiro running to the train station, and Taichi gets bumped to the digital world by the Crest of Courage activating.
Or Stone of Courage.
I think people are jumping too much to text being here equating somewhere else. We've already seen it called the Crest of Courage in multiple places.
Yeah.
I think
also this scene is so good when he jumps the turnstile and Koshiro just like, how did you do that? I can't go through that. Like, that's just his face.
And also that's again showing you the difference between these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Koshiro's like, but that's illegal.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's Koshiro wouldn't even know how to begin doing that move. Like, he's looking at the turnstile going,
it's closed.
He's very short, to be fair. He is such a short boy.
It's like he just jumped that thing. You can't. How do you do that?
Yeah, he looks like Ty just performed some amazing magic in front of him, and he's just gobsmacked, just standing
he just hopped a turnstile.
He's just like, how did that happen?
It's kind of amazing that not like if you go from A to Z, not much happens in the episode, but it also feels like more happened than in any other premiere we ever got, as far as having stuff happen to watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, I liken this to the first episode of Frontier and how it was kind of laid out.
Because they fell down the stairs.
Well, there's the whole train station. There's the whole train station scene. There's basically covers basically just the protagonist, gets through the train station, gets into the digital world. We follow him. He taps into his new power. He fights the opponent. At some point, the rival character is just standing there quietly judging him. Frontier, I think, is the best prior here.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I don't know that I agree, though, but I understand why you're saying it. Agumon does.
I know you're all judging me because I'm saying
no. That
out good. But
I
thought Frontier's first episode.
See, I would have judged you if you had said Appmon, because I thought you were going to go with Appmon because for some reason people have been swinging wildly at it. Frontier, I really do understand why you're saying it. I just disagree. I'm not judging you on it, though, to be honest, because I get it. I just think this feels more coherent than Frontier did, at least to me. Like, there's more direction on what's happening.
Well, it's going to be because here you can tell that they kind of have a plan for a lot of this stuff. And Frontier, there was a lot of interesting things illustrated in Frontier, but a lot of them didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Here we expect them to go somewhere.
Yeah. the one interesting thing, they get rid of Koromon really quickly, which makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense because
good. That was the biggest problem with the first episode of the originals. Everyone stayed in their baby forms too long. They drilled their names in, and then immediately at the end of the episode, it's like, nope, you're never going to see these. You're never going to see these babies again.
We have never seen Agumon move quite so dynamically, have we?
Yeah, I love him.
And Agumon had probably the worst bit of animation in the episode, and it still looked pretty good. The upside down spinning, shooting fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the worst animation in the episode, and it still looked pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, it was still, even the bad animation was good.
Yeah. Am I wrong, or was that actually the worst animation in the episode?
Didn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
I don't my animation scale is either this looks okay to this looks good. That's how I grade animation. It's pass-fail for me.
Okay. But yeah, Agumon look. The Agumons are weird for some. I mean, we'll talk about them a bit more later for obvious reasons. It doesn't feel like Agumon to me, minus the color scheme, and we all kind of know at this point why they did it.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sort of reinventing Agumon, so it's not. I don't know if it's supposed to feel like.
I guess so, but you're not wrong though. Is the thing? It's sort of like Greymon in Cross Wars was clearly Greymon and also clearly not.
Mm-hmm.
So sort of the same thing here. The evolution scene worked really fucking well. I mean, I want stock animation in the future because I kind of love seeing it.
It's for starters that takes forever.
Yeah, that takes forever, and also
it's worth it for the first episode. But when we get to episode 10, they cannot be taking that long.
Well, that's the other thing is and I think we've all kind of seen on Twitter people going, they're going to do fresh animation for each thing, and no, they're not. Because here's the thing. Part of doing that is so that they don't have to spend the money each time, and you can't really reuse most of that because Agumon's doing stuff as he evolves, which is kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, it's real time, which is interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I like how we actually do kind of like we see Greymon stuff start to appear over him as he's growing.
Yeah, I compared it a little bit to the Tamer's evolutions, where they just kind of strip away and reform.
Yeah.
It didn't come across as Tamers to me. What I more saw was that they kind of took inspiration from Agumon X, where Greymon stuff is on him visually.
Yeah.
Because
stripes. Yeah.
Because to me, it felt more like the opposite of the Tamers one, to be honest. Where
it's
still body horror in that way. That's like it looks painful.
It's body horror.
That's
where you go.
See, it didn't feel like body horror at all to me. It felt more like energy being added in a way that doesn't quite mesh with what Tamers did, at least to me.
I mean, it had the tearing and like the screaming expression.
Mm-hmm.
See,
the tearing is just like it doesn't look comfortable.
See, it didn't.
It's not. Hey, I'm gonna spin and I'm gonna do a little pirouette, and suddenly I change.
I kind of
even you may when you point that out in that regard, it's even a little bit like the Frontier evolution sequence.
Oh my God, stop talking about Frontier.
I
slap you around like it's not Frontier.
I
still Frontier than anything else.
See,
slap.
I still disagree because he didn't come across as him screaming. It came across as him roaring. Like Greymon.
It was both.
It was both. It pleasant.
Nah, I think you're.
Your body is changing. If your body suddenly grew to like 5 times the size, and you changed form a little bit, and you grew something on your fucking face,
I think you're reading too much into it. To be honest, I think you're reading into things that didn't happen.
But logically, it should hurt.
No. But I'm not talking about logically. I'm talking about what was actually on the screen.
That's a bit of a philosophical discussion.
No, but that's what I mean. That's more
a can of worms right there. It's like, is the actual process of evolving painful for Digimon?
I mean, even growing is painful when you are growing to be an adult.
I think that like AR said though, that gets a little bit more into philosophical and what is X. I'm purely talking what we actually see on screen. And to be fair, in the next episode, they could tell us you're completely right. I'm just saying.
It sounds horrible saying, "Oh, man, I hope they're in pain," but I hope they're in pain because it just seems.
I mean,
like
I hope they're in
logically
pain
they
is
should.
generally my philosophy with Digimon in general. It's
I
like
hope Yamato's
I
in
want these
pain.
characters to suffer. Like
I hope Yamato isn't told to murder his friend by a tree.
I think it skews too much into generic 13-year-old or what they want, to be honest. At least to me.
It's going to in the end, but
yeah.
For now, let us have our fun with it.
Let you have your fun with it because we all know it's never going to come up at all.
No, it won't.
No.
Which is part
Actual
of
discussion in Digimon. What?
Yeah, that's part of why it's very easy for me to dismiss it because we know it's not going to come up, even if they should at some point.
I think Shoutmon talked about that once in Cross Wars. Like, all these fusions actually take a toll on you over time. Like, he mentioned that once and it never became a thing.
Because Shoutmon also had a habit of over-clarifying things so he'd be praised. He very well may have made it up so that he'd be given credit.
No, Shoutmon's a fucking best, and I will not hear any Shoutmon slander today. He is so precious. I'm so proud of him becoming king.
He is, but his primary thing was that he wanted credit for things and to be declared king before he did anything.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's still my child. I'll protect him. Please do not slander my son. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we managed to get Frontier Tamers and Cross Wars in here, so I gotta work on
no actual adventure.
Carry on.
We talked about adventure.
Yeah, but not 02 or Tri or Kizuna. We haven't compared them
we'll
yet.
Get there.
I mean,
if one more person asks me if the fucking 02 kids are going to show up, I'm gonna strangle them.
Oh my god!
Like, no, they're dead. Shut up.
See, people always want to know, why does Mark seem so angry sometimes when he so often seems nice? And since May's become a mod on Reddit, she kind of understands now.
Why can't people read?
Yeah. See, and
now you know why I avoid Reddit like the plague.
But it's like if you want to see someone who in roughly 2 years completely understands the way my mind works regarding this stuff, May was like, "Oh, I'll be a mod and it'll be fun. We'll have Digimon discussions." And then like 2 months later, she was like, "Ugh, why can't people fucking read?"
People can't read. It's like, it's a sticky thread. It says it right there. Do not ask about Kizuna. Yeah, it's cancelled, buddy. We don't know. We don't know.
Oh no, the better part was earlier today when someone asked about it, and then the response from someone was,
"Oh, if it's sticky." Oh my
god. The response was there should be a sticky. And then I believe it was Victor popped up going like this, linking to the sticky.
Yeah, and I was just like, holy shit. Oh my god. How can you be so like that?
Because it's Reddit. Moving on.
This guy's the person Mark Torma is like a serial offender. Of like talking out of his ass. Anyway.
So we kind of left off on Greymon. That was some nice fighting animation. For as little as he actually showed up.
Yeah, that was it was a very stationary kind of
and
fight.
They left
just basically trading fire with each other, but they conveyed a lot of stuff doing that.
May, you need to type quieter if you're going to use a mechanical keyboard.
Oh fuck, sorry. I thought I muted the microphone. I usually do. I think I must have muted it,
then
unmuted it.
Now, here's one of the interesting things about it. They ended on a serial style, moving directly to the next plot.
Yeah,
which here's what's weird about that. That is something people got very upset about retroactively when they found out the dub used to add that in.
Yeah, I never quite understood the vitriol over that.
Because people decided any edit is a bad edit for any reason.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. And a lot of the reason they did that was to get more stuff into the Puppetmon episodes because they had to cut so much stuff out of those.
Yeah, but a lot of episodes, especially towards the end, actually clipped stuff from the beginnings or end of episodes to make them more serially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny that now that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think they're going to do that for a long time. I mean, episode 1 of the original ended on a literal cliffhanger. Yeah. I think that's just sort of, okay, we're not done yet. We're going to just propel it into the next episode. And I think after episode 2 or 3, they'll probably end on like okay, we're at a stopping point.
Yeah, we'll see.
Not every episode is going to end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, this isn't Appmon.
Or a cliff stander, because he was just standing there on the cliff, not helping.
I think the big VIP, especially in the episode, was the music, though.
Yeah, like how it seemed to be like dynamic almost.
Yeah.
How it was changing.
Well, see, that's the thing cool. is that's in theory how because they do music basically once the show's over to a degree. That's kind of how music's supposed to be, where it's taking into account what's happening. So, like, I think the example most people saw was that when Greymon evolves and begins to run, the music starts to ramp up as he's running.
Mm-hmm.
And the music, I mean, we said it last time when we saw whose name the composer was, where it was going to be good music. It was really good, though. It comes across kind of with that, like, old-style tokusatsu anime feel. And I'm really looking forward to more of it. But man, we need soundtrack discs for this show already. It feels like we already got like a ton of music. So where do you think this ranks among prior TV show premieres?
Pretty highly, actually.
Like prior TV shows overall, or just Digimon premieres?
Let's stick with Digimon first, because I feel like this is already like the height for Digimon TV premieres.
I would agree.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think what else would even get close, and I don't know that anything even comes close.
The only thing close for me would be Tamers, but I think this beats it out.
For some reason, I think that one of the best first episodes compared to the rest of the season was Frontier, because like I felt like
Frontier
that had a pretty good episode.
Opener.
And I really liked Appmon. Appmon was a promising opening, but
Appmon was an okay opener.
I think Cross had a good opening for me.
It's okay.
I'm checking my grades here. Cross was okay.
Surely Original Adventure had the worst opening though, because it's just like learning.
Yeah,
it's learning like 30 names.
Zero Two's was okay.
02 was good if you had any strong feelings about the first season.
I would disagree with an asterisk. Adventures is the worst in the sense of setting up, of not standing there and explaining stuff, which is kind of what it had to do. As far as even being able to...
I thought it tried to do too much of it.
I
think went over our heads.
I think sitting there watching it and just generically enjoying it despite the flaws, Adventure still ranks pretty highly for me in the opening intro.
Oh, God, no. No, Adventure is the worst.
Nah,
Adventure is definitely the worst.
I'd probably say Savers was the worst.
I think Savers was okay.
Fine. Yeah, it was fine.
I think I would rank it like Adventure, 02, Savers, maybe...
Are we going bottom to top?
Yeah, but bottom to top. So
Adventure
original.
02, Savers, probably Cross Wars for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then
I think Appmon.
Yeah.
And then Appmon, then Frontier.
And then Colin, I think.
Tamers is close. Frontier, Tamers, and then this probably.
Yeah, from Frontier, I would agree. My standing's exactly the same as yours. For opening
Hunters
episode.
is tricky, because Hunters did not have a terrible opener. Hunters I'd probably wedge somewhere between somewhere in the Cross Wars zone.
Yeah, I think I liked Hunters opening definitely better than 02, considering it was the same sort of remember these characters? This is a new character. I feel like it's definitely better than that. I think
Premiere had really good Gumdramon.
Yeah, I like Gumdramon.
Gumdramon was great.
Well, I think everyone kind of liked Gumdramon. That's kind of why at first everyone was like, "Oh, this was interesting," and then the next episode came.
And then it turned into Hunters.
He's better than Taiki. Better than Tigeru. Taiki's great. Tigeru's not.
I think the more interesting conversation, and AR kind of saw that this would come up, was, does this actually rank as good generically, even outside of Digimon? I think it does.
Close. It's close.
It's the closest we've ever gotten to sitting there and going, this is actually good when you don't lower the bar for what the franchise is.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me.
Close. I mean, that's generally the standard I have when I'm grading episodes for System Restore, is an A grade is I could show this to somebody who's not into Digimon without feeling embarrassed. That's a straight A.
Yep.
This episode I gave an A minus, and part of that is raising the curve just a little bit because I think the show's gonna break it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really know after episode 1, but that is kind of the feeling I think everyone has at this point is oh, this might just kind of blow away everything we've seen up to this point.
Which is good.
This is the sort of, because that happened with the first half of Try for me. Like by the third movie of Try, I'm like, oh god, this is going to completely break my grading system. And then the last half kind of tailed off a little bit, and thankfully I didn't have that problem.
Yeah, I would agree completely. Like the start of Try was just so great. There's actually, and I've mentioned this before, there's recorded audio of me saying, or audio tends to be recorded. There's evidence of me saying, Atmon looks so bad. I wish it was more like Try, the best thing out of Digimon ever, and how it flipped so quickly and so suddenly for me.
Did not have a promising the premise of this, the lead up to Atmon didn't have me filled with confidence.
I was so like not.
It turned out to be pretty good.
My favorite part of this, not in the sense of the show, but the hurricane around the show, is the vast number of people went, how dare they do Adventure again? It's nostalgia, it's terrible. And them going, okay, I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then I was checking an old thread just for some information, and I saw basically the exact same posts from people 5 years ago with Try.
Yeah, like, but also you'd find the same people.
No. But what I mean,
Atmon's not Digimon.
No. But what I mean is posts from 2 weeks ago of people completely having a fit about this existing.
Yeah. Well, why are they just want to rehash it?
No. And then them in the episode 1 thread going, okay, I was wrong, blah blah blah. But then I was checking something entirely different in an old Try thread, and it was literally the same people doing the same thing over and over again. As in, it was the exact same people going, okay, I was wrong. I watched Try Part 1 and it's great, and blah, blah, and I won't have this kind of reaction again in the future. I'll be more reasonable. And it was literally the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is we'll have the exact same people say, why are they making Atmon? Atmon's not Digimon at all. Why can't they make a new Digimon series?
That's a different problem
entirely. Here's the other thing, and I know AR won't know what I'm talking about because he's not on Reddit. My favorite thread reaction is when someone goes, well, Atmon isn't really Digimon, it's a spin-off of Digimon, blah, blah, and May will pop in, and May will just ignore that they said Atmon and start talking about Tamers as the spin-off of Digimon Adventure.
Yeah. Because it's the same sort of thing.
Yes,
it's just like, okay, if all the shows are just rehashes of Digimon spin-offs, then Digimon Adventure's the only one.
And even with this reboot, I was kind of taking that approach from the beginning. Like, as soon as they announced it, I'm like, okay, this is an original series with characters we've met already.
Yeah, I've
had that mentality the whole way through.
Well, here's the thing.
First episode, I'm like, yeah, this is completely unrecognizable from the episode of the original.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm just going to keep treating this like it's an original.
Well, here's the thing. I don't understand why anyone thought it was going to be a straight remake when we had plot details basically from moment 1 that made it super clear that this was not. Like, they literally tell us stuff is starting before they go to summer. Like, they made it very clear what this was.
At the same time, there is reason to believe that at some point, once we get the introductions out of the way, that there will be a lot of familiar territory.
I mean,
pretty early on, once we get everyone squared away, this might end up being the original concept of 6 or 7 kids in the digital world trying to fix things.
I mean, I feel like we don't have to wait for the introductions because I feel like the setup for episode 2 already kind of goes that way, and that caught everyone by surprise, and I feel like everyone's still a bit surprised by it, to be honest.
I don't think it's going to be as similar as people expect.
I don't think it is either, but even suggesting it, which they do, is very ambitious at this point. Like,
they know the history.
No, and the setup is I honestly believe that's why Algomon looks the way he does, to be honest.
Yeah.
But even if it's not going to be as similar as people are expecting, the very setup of doing it is both ambitious and I even said it on Twitter, maybe a bit pride goeth before the fall. Because to do that for episode 2 is
I mean, what exactly are you suggesting?
I mean, here's the thing. The very setup of what we're shown is Wargame. The episode is titled Wargame.
Right.
The visuals we are shown in the preview is meant to make us think of the movie Wargame. It is, even if it's not going to be a straight remake, the setup is meant to make us think of it that way. And that is an ambitious thing to do when we've seen one episode.
Are you talking about our Wargame or like the 80s movie?
I mean, what do you think I'm talking about?
I'm so glad that I'm not the only one who got
because it sounded
a
lot like you were talking about the original, like the 80s movie.
I mean, here's the thing. Our children's Wargame is based on Wargame in the first place. But what I'm saying, but to Digimon fans, that movie is very specific in kind of it being the main thing.
I give this reboot total. I have total faith in this reboot to
I have almost total faith.
Here's the thing. I would agree more with May for one reason. I have almost total faith. First episodes can be so different though. Yeah. And that's why that's
like Frontier.
Yeah, that's why
I love the opening.
That's like here's the thing. I'm willing to say this is the best first episode we've had, bar none. There's no question.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to jump and say the entire series is going to be fucking amazing based on episode 1 working because
that's right.
But that's what I mean. Episode 1 could be, them punching up.
Yeah, just trying to put the best face forward.
Yeah. I would love to watch episode 2 and love it, and I expect I will, but I could easily see watching it and going, that wasn't so good.
Fuck, Mark, I like how you
what does it for me is what they're putting forward is not our Wargame. There is actually not a lot of, other than the initial concept of.
But that's the thing.
Something's infecting the internet.
But that's the thing.
Let's go in and fix it. The premise is.
I'd say it isn't because here's the thing: the plot as they've given it to us so far is the plot of movie 2. The base plot.
I'd say both episode 1 and 2 combined, perhaps, but episode 2 on its own, like the
But here's the thing: even
crisis in America, that was that was just sort of a small ending exclamation point on the crisis.
But here's the thing: that's not the way it's thought of, though. It's thought of that being a key thing of what's happening. That's one of the key things people remember. I'd say that's one of the key things people remember from it was that the Diablo-mon launching nukes from the U.S. I'd say that's.
I thought that was. I never associate. See, I don't
see that
way. I just sort of like that scene. That just seems like.
I think
going this far now. That's funny.
I think people more solidly remember it because that part specifically, missiles, comes up again in Summer Wars.
Yeah.
But also even the framing thus far is it's Taichi and Koshiro and Yamato's popping in now, and they framing it with the enemies being Algomon, which, while he doesn't show up all that much in it, is effectively Kuramon. So they give it the title Wargame, which is obvious. I'm not saying I expect them to do the movie. I'm saying the way they framed it is getting people thinking about the movie, which is kind of a dangerous thing with how much Digimon fans like the movie.
No, I don't think that's a problem at all.
I think
I think this might have, we're going to do it'll have a few homage moments. Maybe.
I think
a bunch of different things have a bunch of. Atmon has a giant homage moment.
Absolutely. I think it's a dangerous thing to do because it sets expectations to a weird place. There are already people legitimately upset that they're doing it for episode 2.
Oh God, shut up! Our Wargame is not that fantastic. It's good, but it's not like.
Here's the thing. It's fantastic compared to what we have.
Let's put it this way. Our Wargame I gave our Wargame an A-. The first episode of the reboot, I gave an A-. I consider those two equally good.
But you've already said it's the best premiere we have. You've already set the bar.
Yeah.
See, I'd argue it's borderline the best episode. Borderline.
Oh no, it's not. No, not by.
I'd say it's borderline. For me at least.
Ooh.
I think this is much more rewatchable and much more enjoyable than much of what we have had. Of course, that could.
I can name specific episodes that I would prefer to watch.
Oh, I can name specific ones also. I'm just saying it's awfully close for me. May's done the smart thing and has left.
No, I'm here.
I know. I just meant that was the joke.
This is where May has to chime in with the praise of episode 4 of Atmon.
Yeah, episode 4 is still one of the best. Or was it episode 36?
I know episode 4 of Atmon is May's
AR, it doesn't count if you have to shove her into doing it.
I just didn't want to talk about Atmon because I constantly talk about Atmon all the time. Whenever I compare any season to anything, I always start bringing up Atmon.
I am currently reviewing both the reboot and Atmon at the same time. I will not shut up about Atmon right now.
Yeah, I mean, was it episode 36 where
the election results?
I would have burst. Yeah, I burst into
tears. That's my ride or die.
I
think episode 36 of Atmon is better than this.
Yes, but with an asterisk, because episode 36 relies you to know about the characters, and if you don't care about Eri, if you don't care about the characters or her goals or don't have any emotions towards it, it's sort of
by the time you get to episode 36, that's the expectation already.
Yeah, but what if you don't? What if you don't care?
You have to consider audience expectations.
I mean, off the bat, if you were to watch one episode without knowing anything about any other, your mind is erased and you watch episode 36, then your mind is erased and you watch Adventure Colon, you'd probably say Adventure Colon because you have more emotions. Because
if we're talking about that,
I
can give you a real life example, which was episode 35 of Adventure, because that was the first episode I watched where I actually saw, oh, maybe this show is good, because I didn't really know anything that was going on, and watched episode 35 of Adventure going, okay, this show is worth following. That was the episode that turned me into a Digimon fan to begin with. That was the Lilymon debut episode.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Mm-hmm. So I put that one in the conversation.
It's weird that we haven't even brought up how they've kind of purposely shoved Takeru and Hikari to the side in different ways. There's been a lot to talk about here, in that they're doing setup really well, I have to say.
Yeah. I'm hype.
Yeah, so there's it's weird to have the setup for Hikari before Takeru.
Because no, it isn't. Because Hikari sort of had a setup before Takeru.
I mean,
it was just in a different movie.
I mean,
there should have been set up for Hikari in the original Adventure.
There should have been.
In the novel, there was set up for Hikari, and
but the thing is, when I first watched the thing is I think anytime anyone brings up the novel, you have to remember that's after stuff with that. When it's going back, that's not really set up at that point because.
Yeah, I know, but. I think the novel improved on a lot of things, and I actually felt when I was watching this that the start of Adventure Colon felt more like the start of the novel because it's set before.
It's because by the time you get to the point of writing the novel, you already have everything kind of together, and you can smooth it over into a way that's a little more cohesive. When this one, it appears that they have a plan going forward, and it's cohesive from the beginning.
Basically, yeah, and that's kind of why. And it does seem to it does happen more and more where people go, well, the novel did X, which worked better because the setup was already done at that point.
Yeah, it's better because it's in hindsight, and you can kind of look back at the first two.
Yeah.
You can kind of look back at the first season and go, okay, we could have done this better, so let's do it better in the novel.
Yeah. Let's see.
The novel doesn't count. For our purposes in this conversation.
Especially because a lot of people haven't seen the novel. I was just making similarities, especially because
no, I know
Taichi feels more like the novel Taichi as to the original Adventure Taichi.
It adds the conversation about, the cohesion of the book.
Yeah.
The story structure.
Also, introducing a Pokemon in like very early on, it's great.
Mm-hmm. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Planting those seeds early instead of waiting until episode 53 and going, boo!
Or
surprise!
Togemon evolving when Togemon should have evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, novel. Everything is making me dislike Adventure a little bit more because of how things later improved on it.
We watched. My kid picked out Princess Karaoke to watch.
I saw that.
Yeah, watch Princess Karaoke to watch. It doesn't take a novel for me to dislike that episode.
No.
That was the first episode of Digimon I ever watched that convinced me the show was crap.
Oh, I think
it took you that long.
Oh no, that was the first episode I watched.
Oh, okay.
I just had not checked out the show before that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I didn't really watch much of it at all, and then suddenly episode 35 happened and go, oh, this is good.
Well, my first episode of Adventure was what I think is the best episode of Adventure. Well, one of the best, and it's playing games, which is the Puppetmon episode, and that was my first episode of Adventure.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and that was a good one. Like my two favorite episodes are Flower Power and playing games.
Let's swing back to the new show.
I keep on doing this. Sorry.
For someone who already did an entire podcast about the first show and saying you don't want to talk about the first show, you're swinging really hard to wanting to talk about it.
Well, I just did like an entire rewatch.
You keep asking, is this the best episode ever? So we're
I know.
Think of episodes that are on par with this.
Oh, okay, but you were talking about Princess Karaoke.
That's fair.
That's swinging to a completely different thing, and so
it's a conversation comparing cohesion of various Digimon media to the apparent cohesion in this.
And then with episode 2, which is Wargame, we're not going to go over the plot synopsis because AR is deathly afraid of being spoiled.
It's also out in 5 hours?
From TV.
It's not so much episode 2. It's that the synopsis are covering episodes 3 through 6, and they're the summary of episodes. If those episodes are it might give you more direction of where we're going to go with the show than you'd like.
We're not going to go over them, but they're pretty basic TV guide 1-2 line things. They're not really. For a few people, I understand what Jeff said. That made sense. Where he was like, not going to share them because some people might consider it spoilery. Other people are like, oh, it gives you the entire plot. This is not.
Well, it doesn't give you. I'm sure it doesn't give you the entire plot.
No,
I hope it doesn't.
No.
At this point,
we're not going to go over those anyways. I'm just explaining why we're not, and that they're not as spoilery as some people seem to think. I'd say the most reasonable one was Jeff, who could have posted these, but not just in case anyone really doesn't want to know. We're going to go over the titles, though. We're not going to go over the synopsises, though. Mm-hmm. So episode 3 is To the Digital World. Episode 4 is Birdramon Flies. Episode 5 is The Holy Digimon. And
episode 4 is just designated the Birdramon episode, apparently.
Yeah.
And episode 6
wasn't it episode 3 last time?
No, it was episode 4.
No, it wasn't. Because I always combine. Yeah.
3 was Garurumon.
Yeah, because I always combine the first 2 episodes as being the same episode, which is not good. So it is
that's
number
fair.
4.
Yeah,
I realized as soon as I said,
to be honest, it kind of is.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
And then episode 6 is the Targeted Kingdom.
I bet the first 2 episodes of this are going to feel like the same, sort of
the
same episode.
Well, see, here's the thing, Eric. You can't say that if you don't want me to talk about the synopsises.
Yeah, I know.
Because if you bring up stuff, there are already connections I know of, and I'm not bringing them up out of respect.
Okay. It's episode 2. I don't care as much about. I don't want to know what happens in episode 6. That's what I'm more of.
Well, here's the thing. We do not have a synopsis for 6, to be clear.
Yeah.
We only even have synopses up to 5. We do not have.
I don't know. I don't want to know episode 5 then.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil you. Episode 3. I think there might be a digital world in it.
Yeah, I was hearing that this whole net thing was the entire digital world. They weren't going to go anything beyond that. And it was going to be like Cybersleep.
I have to be honest. That one in particular keeps making me go, huh? Because in the first promo image, we literally see like the classic style digital world, and they've talked about it, and we've seen it discussed in detail. That's the one where I get lost when people are like, it's only going to be a cityscape. That for some reason I get completely lost when people bring that up, because we've known from moment one that's not. The first image we have shows the old style, wide green spaces.
Yeah, but I think
Let people hate things unrationally.
Yeah, that too. But I think people sometimes might not be paying attention. Like, they might try to avoid
that's not
videos. Or
no, I know, but I'm saying the first image we have that was proof this exists shows the digital world in it.
Yes.
We can see the like, if you look at that, there's no visual difference from the old one in that image at all. It's very...
see the previous conversation about Reddit. Sometimes people just don't.
Yeah, and if you're only watching the first episode going in completely blind, you wouldn't necessarily know there was a digital world unless you watched the ending theme too.
People are still asking, "Hey, is there a Digimon reboot? What happens in it? Is this like..." Some people still do not know. Some people are just finding out about it now.
Here's the thing: most people who watch the original show don't know this exists.
Yep.
And
I'm
glad
I don't have Facebook anymore, because Facebook is just always, "Hey, May, did you know about this Digimon thing?" 3 months after it is.
But I'm not talking about the people who legitimately don't know. I'm talking about the people who keep up and have discussions with us about it.
Yeah.
There are people that me and May see all the time in multiple places who are still like, so this is just the digital world now. It's just going to be a generic cityscape. It's like, I've seen you in 10 other threads where the poster art is posted, and we've seen...
Can we just make the episode title "Stay the hell off Reddit"?
Yes, I'm for that idea.
That will be a future one. That can't be the first one we do for Adventure.
Mark, I'm going to just sort of be devil's advocate here, and I might be completely wrong because I might be misremembering this, but the trolley car in the Tri poster art, I don't feel like was ever actually shown in the show, and it was more like an artistic thing of, "Hey guys, remember this?" So people could be thinking that it's the same thing as like, oh, just because we see a certain thing in some artwork or in this particular image,
except here's the thing: the trolley car, which it showed up in the EDs a bit, it didn't show up in the show proper that I can think of. It still fits metaphorically to what is going on and the idea of what's happening.
Certainly.
Here,
people might not know that.
The trolley car is just a really overused metaphor for...
Yeah, and it's in everything. It was in...
they did it in the movie 4 too. They used it as a kind of a metaphor in the end credits.
Although, ironically, I am curious to see if we will ever see Koshiro's plane tablet from the promo poster. Or if partway into production they decided, no, that's not going to work, we have to make it look like the laptop and just have it be a 2-in-1.
It's just kind of just like this flip book type thing.
Yeah.
It's like a Surface. He's got like the Windows Surface.
Yeah.
And I just like that it looks like the old one. So those are the titles for episodes coming up. Now, the interesting thing was, they put up an extended episode 2 preview on YouTube, and that, not super extended, but 30 seconds, which had full narration and everything. So I think the idea was it was intended for the show, but they ran a hair long, so they just kind of skipped it. And we got to see what director Kakudo said about it. And this is, I believe, the first time he's been willing to actually comment on adventure stuff he hasn't worked on. Because any other time he's been asked about stuff or commenting, minus Try Part 1, he's kind of said he didn't work on it. It's not something he will talk about. And it's nice to see him so happy and excited. Because he's so often, he very often does come across as a curmudgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which makes us even better. Some people being excited.
It's melted his cold heart.
Like he's even commenting on how happy he is that the poster sparkles.
I'm happy too.
Or he went to Shibuya and took a bunch of photos. And this time he only got to take the photos after it started. But yeah, I like how he pointed out that he basically got snuck into a screening. Because
didn't take pictures of that.
No, he did not. But yeah, he even pointed out that the screenings were very limited just because of coronavirus and concerns.
Right.
And the exact thing he said was, the person in charge did me a kindness and I was able to watch it. Because he's not involved and it doesn't say he was snuck in, but basically someone did something they weren't supposed to let him watch it early.
Yeah.
And
which is precious.
Well, the more precious thing was he pointed out that after this episode, he will be like everyone else watching it on his own with everyone else.
Oh, he's a fan. Oh.
I think it's easier for him to disconnect when it's not the continuity that he kind of considers his.
Yeah.
So I think it's
they're completely redoing everything.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
which is great because sometimes original creators will watch someone else's take on their own continuity and fucking. I mean,
this is the benefit of doing a reboot to begin with.
Yeah, is that they
don't have to.
Well, here's the thing, and I honestly believe this: if they did not have those 3 years in between Adventure and 02 to not deal with, we would probably not have reboots at this point.
Yeah,
they would be stuffing stuff there if they hadn't made clear that very little happened, and they maybe saw them 1 or 2 times. And as for people involved with the original adventure, AIM and Yodo Kazama are appearing in the show, and they're hinting that whatever it is will be surprising and exciting.
Can Imida please be Mimi's mum?
Right, it's like, when you say surprising and exciting, it's like we all kind of assume they're going to be parents.
Yeah,
I'll pop.
Yeah.
I'll pop big.
It's like, that would be exciting. It would not at all be surprising.
If
Kazama showed up as hero, gee, okay,
my first...
I wouldn't be surprised by it.
My first thought, honestly, was that it will be either Mimi's mom or Mimi will have an older sister. I'm not saying I expect it to be an older sister. I just mean it will be an older relation of Mimi in some fashion.
Also, just quickly on Mimi's parents, just very quickly, why is everyone assuming that it's Mimi's dad who is making the technology in this series?
It hasn't been.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people saying,
no, see, I've seen most of it people saying her parents started a company.
I've seen a lot of people
primarily, actually.
I've seen more people say father.
No, I honestly haven't seen. I've seen parents generically.
I've never seen that, but it would be absolutely great if it was primarily mom. Can the
dad be a house husband, please?
That would be so cool, actually. Just the way he carries himself. Recalling the original adventure. I think that would be so cool if he was just
I'll be honest.
I wish I had Mimi's parents. Mimi's parents are the best parents in all of history because they love each other, they love their child, and they would fucking die for the child. And it's just, oh my god, I love Mimi's parents so much. And if Mimi's mum is a fucking genius.
See, I wasn't expecting it to be either parent. The framing made it sound more like old money to me. I kind of figured it'd be a grandparent of some sort, and Mimi would just be the Ojo-sama, basically.
Or, plot twist, it's fucking Mimi. She's a child genius. Boom.
At that point, I don't think it's actually Mimi anymore.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know that's not my headcanon that I was mentioning before, but it would be sick.
Yeah.
My headcanon is better than that. My headcanon's the best. Please, can we move on to headcanons eventually before I fucking explode?
Yeah, I could tell. You got very excited when you got to just say stuff that you don't think will actually be happening.
Yeah, but I've got actual things that have at least a 4% chance of happening. No, a 6% chance of happening.
Yeah, so we'll see what comes up with them. Any more thoughts to wrap up episode 1?
I'm excited, but still cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Also, it's great to see Alomon and Stegomon in the opening.
However,
I do have concerns. I'm worried that'll be Taichi and Yamato show.
I mean, to be honest, I think the expectation is it's going to be.
No, I mean more more than it should be, more Kizuna, less the adventure, which is still focused on Tai and Yamato, but had focus on the other characters. I'm saying it's just Tai Yamato in this show. Like,
I'm not
in a
really
bad
expecting
way.
that, to be honest.
I know, but that's my concern. My only concern.
Well, here's the thing. You love talking about Frontier. You can just imagine it like that.
No, but that was fucking awful.
Yeah, that was
imagine
awful.
If Mimi sort of sit on a fucking bench the whole time and they don't do
stop saying
heroic.
it. Then stop saying the new show seems like Frontier, or else you're going to curse it into existence.
The first episode does seem like Frontier.
There are trains. They're in Shibuya.
There are trains.
And Yamato's a piece of shit. It's Frontier.
Yamato doesn't really do enough to be a piece of shit.
We don't want it to stay Frontier, is what we're saying.
Yeah, no, but we want it to go in better. Like, we want it to go save as tame as Atmon.
We want it to stay good. I guess to wrap up episode 1, I think you can say that both May and I have reviews up that you can check out for our detailed thoughts.
I have like 3 reviews. I have a podcast review, a blog review, and then
May's gonna fucking die by the time she's done with episode 1.
No, I'm fucking happy. This is great. This is like the first time in a long time I've been so excited about anything. It's fucking great. Like, the world needs some brightness, right?
I have to say this though. For anyone who doubts why they keep going back to Adventure, oh man, this exploded like nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I had a everybody who was like, no, fans respond to this. Boy, are we laughing at them now.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. I have multiple searches up that help me find news and figure stuff out. Stuff literally just fucking broke because of how many people were posting about it. And I don't mean like moving so fast I couldn't use it. I mean like at one point I minimized it and I pulled it back up and it was only showing me 2 posts at all with the term Digimon on it. Like, so many things were being posted they weren't even displaying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just fucking broken, and it was kind of amazing to see because it wasn't like that was at the point where, oh, the simulcast is going, so that didn't happen with the other shows. This was just from the Japanese side going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it was trending in Australia, which I feel like that's the first time I've seen Digimon trending in Australia.
It kind of trended everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's super fucking surprising. Like, I don't know.
More surprising is that it ranked on Crunchyroll with only 1 episode. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
As I recall, the way rankings work on Crunchyroll is an episode counts. Even if you watch 10 episodes of a show, it counts as 10 for that show.
Yeah.
So
everyone who's going through and
going through My Hero Academia.
I want to say One Piece, but is One Piece on Crunchyroll?
Yes, and it's like 900 episodes.
Okay.
Yes, and it's like there's like 900 episodes there.
Yeah. So that's the joke is during the quarantine. Piece.
Yeah. Like it ranked like 8th, I believe, ahead.
I thought you said 6th.
I don't remember the exact number. I was trying to pull it up in the background, but I couldn't find it.
But yeah, either way, that's great for 1 episode.
Yeah.
And it's a lot better than the way we had Atmon, which was 2 years later when everyone had basically who wanted to see it had already seen it.
Well, that's the thing is at that point, it is realistically that Toei had given up on licensing. They knew this was coming, and
just
get the money and minimal relevance while they can, because once this was announced, steamrolling basically. Poor Atmon, it deserved better, I think.
It still has people saying, "Hey, I haven't watched this yet, but it looks bad." What the fuck?
Yeah, we still have to keep up and convince people that Atmon is worth watching. But
it's quite good. And because I've seen the first episode, does it get better?
We don't have to convince people to watch this.
Oh, no. Adam, I think Mark's probably already seen this, but somebody said, "Oh, Atmon seems so childish." I'm like, motherfucker, it's a children's show.
And that's the thing is and May, I remember in years past, May used to go, "You say that a lot, Mark. People understand that." And no, they really don't. They really think that this is like, oh, deep show for teenagers, blah, blah, blah. Like,
it's for like under 10s, I'd say, or primarily 10-year-olds.
I would say 8-year-olders, to be honest.
Yes. So, children.
Now, this one probably honestly skews more to what I would call Animaniacs, where it's made for 8-year-olders, but they throw in little things for
Yeah.
those of us who've seen it before, but it is made for 8-year-olders.
Yeah.
Fuck, I feel like all the cartoons that I watched as a child in the 90s, every day I'm realizing more fucked up shit about the jokes that sort of passed.
Right.
Like,
Fingerprints.
Rocko's Modern Life had no fuck. Yeah, Fingerprints. What the fuck, Animaniacs? Jesus Christ! How did
Just-
that? How did that air?
Just to give you an idea of the response, my review for I'm just checking the hit counts of my review for the first episode of the reboot is 4 times higher than the hit count for my last 2 Atmon episodes.
Oh, mine is far higher. Like,
I would say
far higher than anything else.
Yeah.
See, I would say
except
that
my Cyber Sleuth post.
See,
but I put those as a good comparison because I did the Atmon this week.
That's why I don't think it's a good one though, because in the case of Adventure, you're doing it as it's happening, and in the case of Atmon, in most cases, people who are interested watched it years ago and read reviews years ago.
Yeah.
So as much
part of it,
but also, what are people googling at the moment? People tend probably not to be googling Atmon, but they are googling Adventure Colon. Like,
they're not. They're not. They're typing in Digimon and nothing else.
Yeah.
No, I typed in Digimon Adventure Colon 2020 into Google just out of curiosity the other day, and the first result, Crunchyroll. Second result, my fucking blog post.
Because
I popped.
May, do you know why though? It's because people aren't searching for it that specifically.
Yeah.
Because you do it right and you put it in detail like I do most of the time. That's why it's popping up in that specific one, because most people are just putting Adventure or Adventure 2020.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good show, and I'm looking forward to more. And go watch it on a big screen though if you have one. I cannot imagine sitting and watching it on the computer screen trying to chat away, to be honest. I like going and watching on big TV. I think that's all we have to say for episode 1 and what little we've seen of 2 so far. Anything else for that? Or have we
I'm excited.
No, read our reviews.
Oh, wait, we should mention the one thing that when I saw, I have to admit, I actually guffawed out loud when I saw it, just because I knew how upset some people would get. At the very end, when we see Omegamon in the opening, it's like, come on, his head's in the logo, people.
Yeah, and also, come on, it's Digimon Adventure and Omegamon. They kind of come hand in hand.
It is funny, though, when you take into account he's not in the original show. He does not exist.
It's a point worth making that he's not in the original, but I don't think anyone expects that he wouldn't be in this one.
No, I mean, I think once we saw the logo was his head, I'm willing to safely say at that point some version of Omegamon was going to show up. Although I admit I am a bit surprised just how
the fact that they put him in the opening, it's like, we're not hiding. This.
Yeah. So,
also, I'm glad that it's in the opening, because that means that it might not be super duper like a big plot point. Like Well, but I mean, it's going to be a big thing. Of course, it is, because he's a high level.
I mean, here's the thing: the original show had Hikari in the opening before.
It was I think it was the ending. For Keep On was like the episode that they found out that there's an 8th child.
Yeah, I believe so.
Before that, I think.
Yeah, but
episode 27.
Yeah,
it's super early.
The opening was changing at that point, and we see Hikari and Angelomon.
The opening in the Japanese version of Digimon, the original Digimon Adventure, didn't update at all.
It was later, but it was still, I think, before.
Yeah, it was still before she showed up, I believe.
No, the opening didn't change.
Showed up, but I think it was
in the original.
Yeah.
Well, no, the song didn't change. The animation did, though.
I think even the animation didn't change.
The animation changed, but it was a little later on. It was like the episode 30 somewhere.
Yeah, the animation did change in the Japanese version.
Yeah.
I'm fully willing to admit I could be completely misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure it did.
I think you might be wrong. Does that definitely happen in the English version? Because they cut in just clips of animation from the actual show,
the English one changed it up and added in a few clips.
99% sure that the opening for the Japanese version of Digimon Adventure did not change.
I'm willing to say I'm wrong, but yeah, we can move on. We can move on from that. It's very possible me and AR are wrong on that, but I think it's time to move on.
It was definitely the ending. The ending
okay,
update.
May, we understand the ending change.
Oh, yeah,
no one is arguing that at this point.
Mm.
No one is arguing it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all we have to say about episode 1. We just have a few smaller news bits to go over, and then we'll get to questions. So first up, we kind of went over the stuff they put up in Shibuya, just to point out 4 of the wallpapers that they've put up so far. It's so nice to get like actual nice resolution stuff, because I want to say even at Atmon, were they giving us kind of low resolution junk?
I wasn't paying attention to the resolution.
I feel like they didn't give us much for Atmon.
Not as much. They didn't give us this. They didn't give us this for Atmon.
But no, we did.
One of these is my phone wallpaper now.
We didn't even get this for Try though, to be honest, as far as I recall.
I thought we got something for Try.
We did, but not like really modern resolutions. I'm gonna guess we picked the second one, AR.
Yes.
Haha. I would like to use the 4th one, but the image quality is lower than the rest, and it bothers me.
Yeah, I don't like the white background.
Yeah. I don't know. I like them though. Moving on from that, just a few small product things. So first up, we finally see the gummies after we've gotten news about these for 2 months. We got the nice little Crest of Courage gummies with the stickers and the packaging. Not much to say there. For some reason, I'm amused at them being Crest of Courage gummies, and them it's important in the show. I feel kind of about the Shikishis, to be honest. I like the art. I like that they're doing 16 of them. I don't like that you have to buy them in packs of 10. That, I get that they're just slightly more expensive trading cards, basically, but that actually bothers me more than it probably should.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. The Digivice I like. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming because we saw it physically in a few different places.
I like the art for it, putting it inside the crest.
I like that. I like the logo. I kind of thought color-wise they would do the logo a bit flatter, just because that's kind of what's been in right now, and the Digivice kind of feels like that. What's interesting is this one kind of is going to be a fusion of the normal ones and the CSAs, and I kind of hope it has the colored ring that spins around like in the show. $85-ish is a lot. I'm more than tempted to buy it, and I think May is also, to be honest.
I'll definitely buy it if Japan turns out to be shipping to Australia in a couple of months.
Well, here's the thing: it's not shipping until November.
Yeah, I know. So if the shipping is normal again,
if it's not normal, you're going to make me order 2 and then just ship it to you, aren't you?
No, because Ozpost have an American proxy service almost. Well, not proxy service. You buy it. They have an address, basically, a forwarding address. It's super expensive. It's $50 per item, but whatever. I mean, I'm already going to have to do that with the DMX3 and a bunch of other stuff. So whatever, I guess. I don't care. I've been told I have a job and will continue to have a job through this. So that's good news.
Yeah. I'm going to buy this stupid thing and it's just going to go on a shelf. I know that's going to happen.
I'll play with it for a couple of weeks.
Now,
I'm still surprised about the prices a little bit, though.
I'm not, when you consider that the 15th anniversary Digivices were about 80, the CSAs were about 85, and this is both.
Yeah, but they were for adults. Here's
the thing.
For adults, and those were a nostalgia.
Well, here's the thing. This is the premium for adult thing. We already know they're doing, say, the kid-friendly keychain versions, and there'll probably be some other version for it.
The Digivices, as in the pet pedometer toys, were huge when I was a kid.
But here's the thing.
Why are you robbing the kids of that?
Kids don't want that now.
Why the fuck not? It was sick as a child. I love the fucking D3. I will fight any child who says that's not cool.
Because kids have better things now to do than that. We're the only people who are even slightly interested in this, and I'm only interested in it to put it on my fucking desk.
I don't know. I don't have children, and I don't expect to have children for a while. But I'm fairly certain if you give a kid a coloring book, that kid will go fucking apeshit bananas because that's fucking fun. So
yeah,
kids,
but here's
like,
but yes, but here's the thing.
I feel like I'm
you
going to
have
need to
child,
use my kid as a test experiment.
Yeah, but here's the
please
thing.
do. Your kid's the best.
Here's the thing, May.
Do I need to get him a VPET? Do I need to get him a
yes. Oh my god! Please, can you give your kid a VPET and can you please log it? That'd be like.
Oh my
that's
god!
The kind of that's the kind of content that I need.
No, but
please.
see, that's the thing. Get your kid a VPET and see how he reacts to it. It's not the kid asking for it. If kids, they're gonna want the keychain one that they can put on their backpack or bag, or some very cheap equivalent, and there could be a cheap $20 or $30 equivalent down the line. But the thing is fans want the crazy fancy thing.
Also, my kid is 3 years old and wouldn't recognize
I know.
pets and associate it with that with being a Digivice.
Yeah.
Day 2, Vodamon's dead.
Yeah. This is being sold to the only audience who will buy it. People who want CSA Digivices and people who want the fancy adventure V-Pets. That audience doesn't exist for normal stuff anymore. It just, and I don't say it to be mean, it doesn't exist.
That's kind of sad.
But here's the thing. That's also why we can get this for this, and we didn't for, say, Appmon. Because there was very little audience for adult stuff for Appmon, while here, they know adventure fans will be tuning in, and there are fans who are willing to buy it. That's why we're able to get it.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad that the Apply drivers, Digivice wasn't too expensive.
But that's why it wasn't, because it was a...
Yeah, that was...
It was effectively a slightly nicer CSA Digivice for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but arguably one of the Apple bands was an actual sort of game almost.
Yeah, but it was kind of a nothing game.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, just to some art before we hit the questions.
But when are we going into my headcanons? That's the important question mark.
Let's save that for the end.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get into that in the end for when we argue about what may or may not happen with the show.
I'm excited. I have so many headcanons.
Kenji Watanabe did 3 Shikishas that they did for Twitter contest, and I love them all. The Greymon one's really nice. I mean, they're all really nice, but the Greymon one's really nice.
Oh, the Gabbamon's cute. That's adorable, Gabbamon. That's like...
Yeah.
I want the Gabbamon's my favorite, actually. Because he looks like a puppy.
I think the reason Gabbamon's my favorite was that after Agumon and Gabumon, I sort of went, I don't know what they'll do for the third one. And it's Greymon, and he's shaded and detailed extra, so it just kind of looks a bit more special to me.
I feel like Gabumon looks like my dog, so that's probably why I like Gabumon. Like, he just looks so happy.
Makes sense. And then Tenya Yabuno did artwork of Taichi and Agumon from the new show, which...
Yeah, that's nice.
The funny part is it is a bit rough, and he called it rough, but it's really... It's just that he didn't fully ink it, and it still looks amazing.
It's rough in the right way.
Yeah. And then Volcano Oda did a image of Koji Angemon, which isn't show-related, but it felt like by the time we would get to it past it wouldn't be quite as relevant if we're having a show today.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing a lot of art, and that one's particularly nice. And then we have Bandai put up their little art of some of the Digimon watching the show, and little image of Greymon looking like the show, which was neat. Volcano Oda did Agumon to celebrate the new show beginning, which... Such a nice little image of him.
Yeah.
Like, he even did extra shading and stuff that he normally doesn't do. And then Kenji Watanabe doing a chibi style that I don't think we've seen from him before.
Yeah, that's a new look.
It's cute. I like it.
Yeah, that's like a neat minimal color style, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
The Digimon watching Greymon is still the best, though.
Oh, no, it is. It's sort of like when we saw the Agumon and Vmon crying watching Kazuna.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah. And then the last bit of art, after the show premiered, Kenji Watanabe put up another one, which was Agumon from the spinning scene, which looks great. And then they put up Agumon's profile on the reference book, and we got high-resolution art. The shading here very much makes it look different than other reference book artwork to me.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so do I. I like how they even point out, hey, it's Agumon from the Digimon Savers movie. That's the first and only time they will mention Savers in the reference of it being Savers. Because even like when we get the figure for Savers, it's like, hey, look, everyone, it's UL Force Vitramon from Digimon Savers. Cough. Cough.
Your favorite. Everyone's favorite.
Yeah. And he's posed just like he was in V-Tamer when he was introduced. But this is a Digimon Savers figure, we swear.
I got that Animation Chronicle book this week, and I'm actually surprised that All Force Vidramon was in it in the Saver section.
Yeah.
Well, he does appear.
Yeah, well, and that book is way more comprehensive than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's very comprehensive for the first 5. So let's go ahead and get to questions. While you guys think some up and send some, I will go. So the first thing was there was like 20 of these about will there be Blu-rays, will there be a dub, will it air on US TV? Blu-rays, probably, I would hope so with the animation quality.
I mean, I would assume they'd be in Japan at least. I would hope they end up here.
Yeah,
but
I mean, well, here's the thing. Remember, Atmon did not get Blu-rays.
Yeah.
This is not Atmon.
No, of course, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but
I would expect. Here's the problem with here's the thing. If we were not in the middle of a unique global situation, I could guess it almost down to the week. I feel like because things could be moved up, things could be pushed back. I would not be shocked if it's late October for Blu-rays of some form. A dub seems almost for sure at this point. It's just a matter of how, we're getting actors vaguely hinting at it already, which, to be fair, they were hinting at stuff for Kazuna when it's not possible the movie was even finished.
Mm-hmm.
So, it feels like this is... I think Toei knows that this is their moneymaker, basically, this one. Could it end up on TV? There's a chance. I would not be shocked if it didn't, but realistically, the thing is Crunchyroll's AT&T, AT&T's Toonami. It would not be a shock. Toonami is not a terrible fit.
Seems like a possibility.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm not saying it's going to. It just wouldn't shock me.
This is one where Toonami's actually in the conversation.
Yeah.
But don't take that as a guarantee.
No, that is purely because here's the thing, we don't know what rights Crunchyroll actually has. It's possible they've licensed the show wholesale, which often is a demand, but it could also be they weren't licensing for TV because Toei wants their own deal, but we don't know. But it's possible. Let's see if we have any questions. Do we think the upside down Agumon scene was meant to be a reference to Omnimon pulling a similar move, Revenge of Diaboromon? No, I think that's just the upside down blasting action scene is just an action scene that shows up a lot.
Yeah, it's just really cool.
Yeah. Someone wants to know, why did they reboot Digimon Adventure instead of remastering and re-airing it like they did for Kai?
I think we have the answer to that.
Well, here's the thing. They have film stock for Dragon Ball Z. When you have film stock, you can do stuff with it. When you have SD tape, there's only so much you can really do.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you take into account, say, even the Blu-rays that are full screen don't look all that great. And if you wanted to make that widescreen, you're zooming it in even more. And that's not...
Also, they already released the Blu-rays for Adventure, so that window's closed.
Yeah. And the truth is as much as people like to say Digimon has a lot of filler, it kind of doesn't. Dragon Ball Z is a long show, and I don't necessarily like Kai, but when you have a show that's 300 episodes, you can easily shave it down.
Mm-hmm.
There's only
remastering and re-airing Adventure isn't going to produce a different kind of experience from watching just as it is in the 1999 show. It might look a little more polished, but you're basically getting the same thing. Kai is enough of a different experience.
Yeah. Then someone wants to know, will Mamoru Hosoda be a part of the reboot? No. I don't. Normally I'm willing to go, well, there's always a possibility, and there always is, but no, he will not.
I'm just hoping this continues to be as new as possible, if that makes sense.
I'm willing to wait to see what happens because there are times when I could easily see the old stuff making sense to do a take on. But then I suppose if you're doing a take on instead of a remake, that's still new. So
Yeah.
Let's see. Is the new show related to Kazuna originally being announced as a reboot remake movie?
I was thinking about that
Well,
lately.
well, here's the thing. And this went far and wide, but people didn't notice that when I corrected it, it was based on me making a bad assumption, not that it was actually announced as a movie. So any place you saw saying that it was a movie was just taking from me making a mistake in the first place. Because I was refreshing the site to check something and they put up the page and it was movie version Digimon Adventure and I went, they're doing a remake. And then I went and posted it. And it wasn't until 20, 30 minutes later I went, oh, wait, that is technically how you would just write Digimon Adventure, whatever the movie.
Yeah.
So any place that goes, oh, they're doing a remake and they're going to refresh it, that's just them iterating based on me fucking up. Which is also
so there's no connection between that and Digimon Adventure Sai.
No, because and the funny part is we actually know they weren't planning on rebooting it at the time because even Kakudo said when he was even leaving.
I never read that. Even when I got that impression initially, I never quite felt like that was a reboot.
No, yeah, because I'm just talking about my initial post about it was basically they're going to do a remake movie Digimon Adventure with Taichi and Agumon, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see. Ian, we already did cover where it ranks compared to other premieres. You will get to hear that when the episode goes up.
I said that in the chat. I covered that already.
I did not scroll down far enough down to see that.
I was on top of that one.
Yeah. Then Champ wants to know, do you think the pandemic will interfere with future episode production release dates? It depends. Here's the thing. It depends how far ahead they are because we really don't know in this case. Normally shows are done up close, but I've heard weird inklings that stuff like the new Dai series from Toei actually may already have episodes in the canon. That's not until fall. So if Toei is just trying to get... And here's the thing. If they wanted to do something internationally quickly with a dub, they may be further ahead than they normally would be. At some point, something will have to give.
Yeah, I was going to say, if this goes long enough, at some point there should probably be some sort of interference.
And here's the thing. Have to give could be after episode 6 for all we know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where something reasonably has to... Because, oh crap, I can't remember. What was the director of Kazuna? I can't remember his name.
Guy. Yeah, whatever.
He actually posted on Twitter about the studio he's doing work at currently. Everyone's doing work remotely. And at least for his own productivity, he thinks he's only ending up doing like 25% what he would normally do in a day.
Yeah.
With whatever it is he's currently working on. So at this point, people are still getting used to stuff. At some point, even working remotely, things will normalize, but we're not to that point yet.
Mm-hmm.
So if the show's 15 episodes ahead, we may never notice. If the show's 5 episodes ahead, we could get a delayed announcement any day. We really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All we know is we're reasonably getting episode 2 today.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm willing to go on. I'm willing to go that far and no further at the moment. Then the next question that was sent in by a few people: will we try and do the show weekly to do episode reviews?
No.
The short answer is no. The longer answer is even if we did, it would not be as the show is here. For example,
I'm already doing.
No, it's not happening. No, like May has a bunch of places to get reviews. I have a weekly review up every Monday. If you want to know what we thought about the episode, at least for May and I, there are easy ways to do that.
Yeah, our thoughts
We
are
have
there.
our outlets already.
Don't worry, everyone. I'll convince AR to do it.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Don't worry.
I'll do it anyway.
I shall convince AR to do it. May will not be involved.
I know I'll be into it.
Oh no! See, here's the thing. May, you would be 100% into it, but there's no way to schedule all of us in a way to actually do that.
Here's the working from home. I'm more free than previous.
See. Here's the thing. If we did it, and this is a big if, it would be Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, 7 or 8 p.m., and it'd be half an hour with no news at all. And that may very well end up happening, but probably not.
I can jump on and I can just talk. Like I'll be because I can jump on at work.
Okay. If we announce a show tomorrow, don't be surprised. But it will be quickie. It will be quickie.
Yeah.
We will have to be. Yeah. It would literally be every Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, 30 to 45 minutes. Me and AR May, if she's able to sneak out of her home office to the other side of her home office.
I wouldn't be moving. I'd be sitting on my ass in the same chair.
It would be that. It would not be news. It would basically be us doing that, and then once a month we would do the normal show going through news. It may happen. I wouldn't be sure of it because we would effectively have to decide by like tomorrow.
Yeah. And then, like I said, this is a thing where May has a bunch of outlets to get reviews across.
Okay, but AR, here's the thing. Does May seem like she's finished talking about it?
Nope. Never.
Well, let me ask this. Are there any points that you've made in this particular episode that you have not made prior in any of your reviews?
I hadn't compared the opening with other seasons, and
see, I did that.
Yeah, I
did that in mine.
Okay, yeah. So what we're saying.
Can you please answer the question that Alan Tang just asked, please?
Yeah, well, I want to hear this, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
So what we're saying is it's possible, but don't expect it. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if we tried to do half an hour a week, though. To be honest.
At the very least, when we the next time we do a regular episode, if we don't do a weekly thing, we'll at least say. So, what are our thoughts on?
Yeah. So what we're saying is we'll probably be here Tuesday.
I'll always be here.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when I was thinking of it when we got the question, I honestly went in my head, okay, it'd be half an hour. May wouldn't be there. Maybe we'd find a guest occasionally. The problem is May will actually be in the position to do it, and she will jump at it every time. So it may very well be all three of us for half an hour or 40 minutes a week.
And AR just is like being pulled, kicking and screaming.
Well, here's the thing. It's not kicking and screaming. He's worried that, because, like, for example, we planned for this to be short. Like,
we did.
2 hours right now.
No, but that's the thing. Everything we put together for this episode was it to be short. We only did the news for 10 minutes.
Yeah, the thing is, if we can keep it reasonably short. After my kid goes to bed.
My podcast episode on this was an hour and 21 minutes long.
Here's the thing.
Somehow.
Here's the thing I would like to point out. There's 3 of us here. 2 of us went off topic a lot in this episode. And it wasn't me.
I wonder who that is.
Me. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't me who was going off topic, stretching it out.
It was hidden other guests.
Okay, Dak and Jackster wants to know: do you expect Adventure to consistently maintain the animation quality of Episode 1? No,
probably no.
Like, here's the thing: we all want them to. At some point, something has to give, and I would not be shocked if it's Episode 2 because that was very good.
I worry though.
Cootie asks, if it comes to the West, will Joshua Seth resume his speaking voice? He's willing to.
I wouldn't expect that, but you don't know.
To be fair,
I wouldn't be surprised.
To be fair, most of us didn't expect him to come back for Try until the point when he said he was willing to do it.
Yeah, wasn't he like a hypnotist in Vegas or something? Or did I make
no,
that up?
Oh, no,
dream?
He's a hypnotist all over the world.
He's a traveler. He does speaking tours and stuff across the country.
I would love for Joshua Seth to fucking hypnotize me.
Here's the thing about doing voice acting. He's realistically losing money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if Digimon Adventure 2020 is a success, do you think they will continue to O2 or reboot another season? Do you think they'll do something new? It's either going to be more adventure or something new. Here's the thing, and I don't say this to be mean or to mock anyone. At this point, adventure might be Kitaro. Where every 8 or 10 years we get a new version of Digimon Adventure at this point.
Also, can I just say something really quick
Sure.
about Dak and Jackster? Like, well done on that fucking animation you just posted. That's incredible. The Betamon Warp Digivolution animation, that was like the first thing I saw upon waking up, and just like, thank you. So sorry, I just want to send a bit of a shout out because that was absolutely fucking amazing.
See, this is why I should mention, even though AR does go off topic, this is why AR is still allowed to complain about it and May is not.
It's question time. Dak and Jackster asked a question. And I'll reply with something unrelated, but it's fine.
Okay, Alan's...
When I go off topic, I usually have a point behind it.
I have a point behind it. It was amazing.
This is why I take AR's complaints very seriously when he brings that to me, and May's, I just immediately distract her by saying something else, and then we never talk about it again.
I don't complain though. I'm pretty positive about me.
But yeah, we don't expect. If it continues, it'll probably continue to be more adventure.
Now, here's the thing:
I don't want to rule out the possibility of the O2 kids getting involved.
Yeah, I would say
it's not going to be straight up reboot of 02.
Exactly. I honestly, I would expect them to show up if this continues on. I don't expect it to be. Yeah, I don't expect it to be the O2 adventures with the adventure kids in junior high and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah. Okay. Alan's question, which I believe you guys were looking forward to. What's your worst experience with the Digimon Reddit?
Yeah.
Can I go first?
And
sure.
Everything,
May can go first.
Would be various stuff that you link me. So
yeah,
okay,
I'm sitting out of this one.
May, you can go first.
I have two large standout ones that like come to mind immediately. Once I posted a cosplay of Miyako, and I said my partner's away, so I'm cosplaying as Miyako.
Oh, I remember this one. I remember this one.
And someone said, "Oh, does she also like Digimon?" I'm like, "Oh, my partner's a man." He's like, and this person was like, "Oh, but partner equals homosexual," and I'm just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I remember May linking in
that
this.
I'm fucking straight or cis is hilarious to me. Like, come on, buddy. And also another thing, like, what the fuck? Like, I personally would not call my partner that I have lived with for many years a boyfriend, because it just, personally to me, it feels like it's beyond boyfriend. Domestic partnership is a legal term.
I have that problem. I have that problem too. Now that when you mention that, yeah.
I do have.
It's a tough.
Yeah. I do have that problem because I have short hair, and apparently short hair still means that person is a lesbian.
May, here's your problem. You like John Mulaney. You didn't make the obvious joke.
Which one?
When
people Google me, does it say John Mulaney bull ?
No. I think
no. Everyone's gonna have to get cool with stuff really quick.
No, the one I was thinking of where he's talking about how when he goes, "Oh, my girlfriend," and it sounds so immature as him as an adult saying it with someone.
Wife. I didn't murder my wife.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you would go that way and go, "My boyfriend."
I didn't even think about it. And then my second one was somebody saying, "Oh, if Digimon don't have gender, explain this," and just linked a fucking picture of Tailmon and Vmon dancing.
Yeah, that was one. Like here's the thing.
What the fuck?
Like here's the thing. If someone wants to make I can make the argument either way using in-show stuff.
No,
but
that's where you put like this really fan servicey fan art of Venusmon or something.
But I mean
puts a really creepy spin on a father-daughter dance.
No, but what I mean is you can make the argument either way with in-show stuff 10 different ways. But but I remember this because they didn't make the argument. It was literally just Vmon and Tailmon dancing. There was no argument or like thing.
God.
It was literally just like a picture of them dancing. It was and like their entire argument was just this. Like,
oh god, that's awful.
Like they didn't say anything. So like, and I remember seeing like, is it just that?
Is it just being super heteronormative and
but like there was no argument made. It made no like here's the thing. They're an idiot, but there may have been some point that might have made sense to try to discuss. It was just the picture and nothing else.
I know exactly the point they were trying to make. That's why it's awful.
No, but that's what I mean.
Implying that people
that's what I mean.
The same gender or sex can't dance. Like it's just it's weird.
But that's why it was weird though, because like if there was some point, even as stupid as it was, it only comes across as how are you going to explain two people dancing then?
Okay.
Like in their head, there must have been some explanation, and like I still remember that one because I still go, as stupid as their point was, there must have been some point they had.
Yeah, I feel like
I know the point they had.
No, I know
it. None of their comments.
I want to move on to Mark's, even though we should probably stop there because I already kind of have a headache from question.
Yeah. Okay.
I regret looking forward to this.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mine is probably the number of people who think whatever they believe is the fact of the universe. And that's not unique to even Reddit, but like even like when Frontier had its anniversary, doesn't matter what anyone said, Frontier's the best show and that's the truth. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, man, I understand you like Frontier. I get it. Most people don't. Yeah. You like it. It does not matter what anyone else thinks for you to like it.
Or the people who say that certain shows flopped or didn't sell when Mark's just saying they're like with the facts saying they sold okay.
Oh no, and people call me a cynic when I do that.
Yeah.
I remember a few times May's gone, what's cynical about pointing out, like, no matter what anyone says about anything, Adventure stomps on everything. Like,
yes,
cartoonishly so.
Like somebody said that Try flopped. Somebody said Kizuna flopped. I'm like, no, don't think so.
No,
you know why Try didn't flop?
Because
it had a sequel.
Really well. Yeah.
Like I did not like Kizuna, and I was okay with.
You didn't like the second half of Tried.
Yes, correct. I did not like the second half. I mean, I like bits of the second half.
That's the other fiction that I like. That I ban or remove anything that disagrees with me on Reddit. And that's funny because
from this conversation, I feel like you should.
No, and the funny part is
though there'd be nothing on Reddit.
Well, yeah, here's the funny part. May, more often than not, you're the one deleting stuff, or Sid. I argue with this person. I think this needs to be removed, but I argue with them so much I don't feel right in doing it. Will someone else take a look at this?
Yeah, I'm just like, remove. Yeah. It's like a reflex.
Like you can people are like, oh, posts mysteriously disappear. No, they really don't. It's someone popping in and saying something so fucking horrible to someone else that it gets kicked out quickly.
Mm.
I do most of what I'm deleting are t-shirt shops trying to sell Crest of Courage t-shirts.
Oh, that's every day. I feel like I see a new one every
or the Play Asia spam links.
Yeah.
Yeah, or people like asking the same question that's in. We went over this before, but there's a pin thing.
May, do you know? I would like to know, May, did Kizuna screen in theaters in the US?
Is Survive cancelled?
Is it on home video yet? Where can I find it?
Is Digimon 2020 available online anywhere? Hey guys, what were your thoughts on 2020? I couldn't find a discussion thread that was posted yesterday about it.
And stickied.
Oh,
and what's the thing where it makes it shiny so people can see it easier? Where we put the mod symbol on it, distinguished or whatever.
Yeah, distinguished. Yeah.
Yes.
I rest my case about staying off Reddit.
Somebody asked if I was a mod once. As a reply to a distinguished comment.
Oh no, I forgot. Okay, my actual favorite thing from Reddit ever was there were no mods around before Tripart 6 came out. Like there were no more mods on the Digimon subreddit.
Yeah, they had all left.
Yeah, the person who used to be the mod popped back and was like, "Okay, we'll do a vote for new mods," and people were voting for me and saying, "Oh, well, he runs with the," and someone goes, "That guy's a fucking asshole. With the Will's terrible. I want nothing to do with the Will. My vote is for May."
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And it's like
thank you for the vote.
And it's like, are you unaware May is on With the Will? She's a mod on With the Will. She's on the With the Will podcast. She's a friend of mine. 99% of the time, she agrees with what I do in moderation. It's like it was just it was literally like a rant about me, and it ends with the person going, "I nominate May."
Or somebody who says that I wrote the rules when, in fact, I did not write the rules.
Well, most people say I wrote the rules.
Yeah, I know. Someone doesn't like me, and then someone doesn't like you, and despite neither of us really write. Like, I posted the rules.
Most
and we all
most
kind
of
of had our own.
I
thoughts on
believe
it, but
most
didn't
of the
write
rules
them.
were by Iris, I think.
Yeah, Iris wrote the rules, and
Yeah.
we kind of like worked on that. But yeah, somebody does not like me, and now I think maybe they've decided that your posts are now the ones that they not like. I'm not sure if it's the same person, but it's just funny to me. Just like, I will report this person because they are breaking these Reddit rules that they wrote. Thanks.
Well, see, that's the key thing is if me or May or Sid or Iris break a rule, we're probably just going to ignore it. I mean, we haven't, but there's 4 of us, and there's only 3 of us who are actually active, and
yeah.
I believe
Reddit's fun.
I believe that's about it for questions.
In all of that, I actually have spent that entire conversation wondering, it's like, do a majority of people actually dislike Frontier? Or is it just, maybe it's not as critically received, but most people just sort of,
I think
most people are fine and enjoy it just fine. Or
I would say most reactions to Digimon shows nowadays are based on vague memories or trying to fit in. Like the number of people that I see say trashing on O2 haven't watched it in recently enough to remember the show, or the last time they watched it, they liked it and they've just decided they don't like it now.
That's it. Yeah.
I equate it to trying to pretend they're mature, to be honest.
I mean, some people also just like bandwagging for hate. Like,
yeah, that's where a lot of the try hate comes from.
Digimon.
Now,
yeah, like I have issues with Try, and I've mentioned those issues before, but I wouldn't say that I actively hate on it.
Now, May,
I don't dislike any Digimon series.
Now, May,
I like Hunters is pretty god awful, but I still enjoyed.
Now, May, very quickly, as you know, according to everyone else, anyone who dislikes or says anything negative about Try, I instantly ban. So could you give them tips on how to not get banned by me, considering you don't like Try and are somehow...
Say you like half of it. Then Mark is confused and hurts himself in his confusion. Also, I've seen people saying I don't like Adventure, which is just so fucking far from the truth. I think that's just
trying to be counter to everybody and going,
okay, Ian,
why are we making more Adventure when it's stupid?
Okay, question from Ian. In the spirit of Easter weekend, is there any kind of Easter eggs you'd like to see pop up in Adventure 20, such as a background camera reference? Is it Easter weekend?
It's Easter Sunday today.
It's Easter Sunday tomorrow.
Okay.
Today.
Well, here's the thing. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm Jewish, so I don't have much of a reason to pay attention to if it's Easter or not. I would assume if we see eggs in the background, it will be various familiar old patterns.
Yeah, that's probably. If you're asking what my dream is, I would like to see just random cameos from other season characters.
Or like just Miyako just hanging out, just maybe watching some news. Sort of I don't know, just sort of like a soft one.
Just have Miyako and I don't know, me from Frontier hanging out in the background of something.
Okay. And the last question was someone being worried about the potential of ads on With the Will, since I brought that up a few days ago. There may end up being ads on With the Will. If so, it'd be from one store with ads they custom make for the site. With preferably Digimon products when available, and they would be ads that we would specifically decide where they're placed. And it would not be just, here's ads from an ad farm. It would be one shop.
Yeah, it's not going to be like random wish items like, hey, check out this thing that's totally not a crack pipe.
No, it would be something like the sidebar on the right side might have a square, and maybe right under where I write in the articles, there may be a banner ad. It will not be 20, 30 ads on a page from random places. This is from a place that, if I'm not going to name it yet, most Digimon fans have probably shopped there at some point for stuff. It will not be eBay. It will not be ad. Wait, where?
I'm making a joke. I just said eBay as a joke.
No. It would not. Yeah,
Facebook.
It will not be the adpocalypse. Would literally be us dealing with one place, and they've already said they would be making the images for us once a month with Digimon, or if there isn't new Digimon stuff coming, similar brands that would make sense to Digimon fans. It would not be just ads everywhere. So yeah, that would be the plan if it happens, and it still may not. But that's basically the idea, is Because in theory, the goal of the Patreon was just make it so the site is not net neutral and hopefully build up stuff in case something happens. And that happened. And since the pandemic happened, the Patreons dropped by about half, actually. Because people have more important things to deal with money wise at the moment, and the site's not in any danger. My preference is just to figure this stuff out before an issue can come up.
I mean, people tend to think this sort of thing is free to run and doesn't take any effort or income, and that's why people need ads. Like, okay, ads like there were at the start of the internet, where it was just random fucking like flashy things out of nowhere. Like that's annoying, but sometimes you gotta have some form of income, because running a website a show like this isn't free.
And here's the thing.
Easy.
And here's the honest thing of it. Haven't discussed numbers with them yet because wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be stuff plastered everywhere before. So at the moment, it has just been me clarifying what it is they're looking for and if it's even compatible with what we would be willing to have. At the moment, it's leaning that way. It may not be. If you're anyone can support the site via Patreon, PayPal. The Patreon gets you into a hidden room on our Discord where people can and do ask me stuff on a normal basis. You would be shocked how often I'll go, so we haven't talked much lately. Does anyone have any concerns or thoughts about the site? Everyone's just basically, nope, everything's good. It's like, okay. And so, yeah, if there's ads, it's not going to be crazy. It'd be realistic ones. AR, you want to talk about your Patreon?
I have a Patreon now. It's kind of the same thing. It's like access to a Discord, which when I get enough Patreons, I will actually create. And
AR is trying to steal your money without giving you your promised Discord, people.
No, you gotta get a couple before I okay.
Yeah.
As you said, it's lean time, so
It is effectively me trying to prepare in case shit happens. Because,
but yeah, I mean the big perk is I think it's at the $5 level. You do get reviews in advance. So if you want my review on a day early, that's a good way to get it.
Yeah. May, where can they find you?
We're not going to talk about my headcanons.
It's been 2 hours.
Okay. Wait. How about this? If we do an episode 2 show in the next few days, we will finish the discussion on the show with a reasonable amount of time so you can have at least 5 minutes to talk about headcanons. If you are there, May.
Well, look, to be fair, I already addressed these headcanons in
I know.
my podcast.
I know.
Listen to the Lost in Translation mod if you want.
But I'm saying that's the worm on the hook, May. Yeah, if we do an episode 2 show in the next few days and we decide when it's going to happen, that is your only chance to talk about it here.
Yes, that's fair enough. That is reasonable. It is longer than 2 hours now, and I guess I do want more breakfast.
Yeah, so
I think I heard your Mimi headcanon already. So.
Yeah, it's a good. I feel like it's a good one. I like my TK one as well, though.
See,
I guess people have to listen to my podcast.
If the show had aired in May, this would have been the April Fools Day episode, which would have been literally just May talking about her headcanons.
I have so many,
and that could very well be a Christmas special. So, so
I don't really have any headcanons yet. I'm just sort of keeping my.
I have ideas. I don't have. I want this to happen because I expect X. I have ideas, but I think that's about it for now. There's a very good chance that when we're done with this, we will figure out if we can do a weekly show, or AR will yell at me for even bringing it up.
If it's late enough on a Tuesday,
we'll talk about when we go off, because I think I have an idea to make it actually work, which is why I was willing to answer the question. We will catch you guys later. Enjoy the show, which is about 3 hours and 20 minutes from when this is recorded.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.